Hi everyone, my name is Mandy Berger. This is my Module 16 for EDL 854 Building Finance case study, the budget debacle. So I want to start with a little introduction. This case study deals with an incident that happened at Briardale Elementary School. This school is one of 6 elementary schools in the district with roughly 600 students in this building. There's also 2 middle schools, 1 high school in the district. Briardale is located in the center of town and also used for a town community center, which the district staff and the principal, Carlos Santano, supports. So let's start with a summary of the case stating the facts. I want to start with talking about the curriculum. So the curriculum fund, the district gets a lump sum of money, and the superintendent takes this money and divides it up between the buildings and places each building's fund into the school site's budget. This money must be used for the basic skill curriculum. So there's been a little confusion on the funding then for the supplementary curriculum, so that led the district to come up with these foundations. The foundations, each site has its own foundation, which then has a site chair, which is a parent, and this parent serves as the president of the foundation. At Briardale this year, it is Mr. Barely. He is new to the area. He is a Harvard graduate, and he is very capable, very gung-ho. The funds raised from this foundation must be turned over to the principal to be placed in a fund. Mr. Santos also put a protocol in place for the supplementary curriculum. He developed a committee, which is spearheaded by a lead teacher at the building. A little about Mr. Barely. He is, like I said, new to the community, a Harvard graduate. He is so gung-ho, he wants to raise the most money ever, huge competition. He wants to be able to support more innovative programs, even though the school already has a wonderful art and band and music. He wants more. He is really in competition with a gentleman by the name of Mr. Morley, who happens to be in charge of the same type of foundation, but at another elementary school within that same district. And there's a little bit of back history between the two. Mr. Morley beat Mr. Barely when they both were in college at Harvard running for class president. So there's a little bit of hard feelings. Section 1 continued. I want to talk a little bit about the orientation Mr. Barely received. Mr. Santos explained the position to him, what he needed as the role as the president, job as a fundraiser, and also told him he must meet with the site curriculum team and inform them of any ideas that would influence that curriculum. Next would be the fundraiser idea. So Mr. Barely came up with this idea of selling raffle tickets for a chance to win cash, which was something he did in college that raised a ton of money. So he thought for his competition, this would be great. Mr. Barely proposed his idea to the foundation and they supported it. So he went forward with it. During the event, the tickets were sold. The drawing was taking place at Briardale. Someone had tipped off the sheriff that there was going to be a raffle for cash being held, which is illegal because it's considered gambling. And the sheriff showed up and arrested Mr. Barely, and then he was later convicted of misdemeanor and placed on probation. And then that obviously became front page news for the newspaper, which led to some huge embarrassment for the school. Section 2, report any legal and ethical findings. You know that first off, the raffle, it violated gambling laws. Schools may not award cash of any sort. Mr. Barely then later, because of it, was arrested and charged with a misdemeanor and placed on probation, which has led to this incident. Section 3 synthesized exactly what happened. You know, we got Mr. Barely. He is this new president of Briardale Supplementary Foundation, and he wanted to raise the most money. So he decided to have this raffle for cash event, and didn't really look into, in my opinion, the details behind it. So this resulted in his arrest and embarrassment for the school and district. If we want to synthesize the facts and dig a little deeper, we know the people involved are Mr. Burley, who happens to be the Briardale Foundation president, Mr. Santos, the Briardale principal, Mr. Morley, the competing foundation president, and an old college peer. And then, you also have to say the community, those parents, those students that, go and help and take part of everything that makes Briardale what it is. The place is obviously Briardale Elementary School, the center of town, roughly 600 students. Briardale's program is a K through 5th elementary school. The curriculum is, they follow the basic skill, which is funded by the district, and the supplemental curriculum funded by the foundation. If we review and prioritize the information, first off, just the embarrassment to the school and the stakeholders and what that might look like. The foundation's reputation ultimately is also damaged, and they're going to have to do some PR to build it back up and show the community that they're serious, and that, when someone outside the community gives them their money, it's in good faith and it's going towards the students and what it's meant for. And ultimately, if they don't repair this damage, it could end to the end of the foundation. And then where is the school going to get the money to back up their supplementary curriculum? They also have to look at that outside public and what they think of the district now. Are new people going to want to move to that district? Are they going to start losing money? As a district, do you want to keep building it. You want kids and family members to move in. You want your school to have a good name. You want it to grow and flourish. And could I learn more about the situation? Yes, I feel like there is stuff that we don't know. Was there a protocol already in place? Was there steps that Mr. Burley skipped that he shouldn't have because he wanted to raise the most money? Or maybe he didn't know all the steps he should have done. We don't know that exactly. And then, where was the principal? I know there was a foundation in place, but shouldn't the principal ultimately also have a say on, yes, this fundraiser is okay, no, you can't do this fundraiser? I just feel like we are lacking some information. Section 6, identify your options and possible consequences. First option, no action. Just move forward. Most comprehensive action I have in place is bring Mr. Burley in for a meeting, assign a co-chair, and the principal has the last say. The most severe action would be to fire Mr. Burley and stop the foundation. And then options would be to put a protocol in place of what the fundraisers in that district would allow. Now let's look and evaluate our options a little deeper. If we go the no action route, just moving forward, that doesn't stop this from ever happening again. There is no lesson learned. So that really, in my opinion, is not a good option. The most comprehensive plan would be to bring Mr. Burley in. Maybe if you talk to him and listen, maybe you can understand more why he didn't follow those proper steps. Maybe he didn't know him. Maybe we assumed he did, but he didn't. Assign a co-chair. This will ensure that one person is not solely in charge, and so the checks and balances are in place where they need to be. Also, having the principal have the last say also ensures that the proper steps will hopefully be followed. And lastly, the most severe action, firing Mr. Burley doesn't necessarily solve the problem either. Getting rid of the foundation, I feel like ultimately is really just punishing the students for something that they had no control over. You've got to look at the situation as a whole, and it's hard just to say to fire Mr. Burley and get rid of the foundation, because maybe that orientation that he had with Mr. Santos wasn't complete. Maybe there needs to be more. And the last option I had mentioned was putting proper protocols in place. This would be hugely helpful because then everyone would be on the same page, working towards the same goal, which is ultimately the success of your students. Section 8, choose the best option. In my opinion, it would be putting the proper protocol in place, which has those step-by-step directions, whether that is, meetings and orientations, maybe it is a poster or a flyer. In that, I feel like without foundation, I believe there should be a co-chair too. It shouldn't be left all on one person. Maybe that's too much responsibility. Maybe there needs to be that other person to have those checks and balances to be helpful. And have that meeting with Mr. Barely. Figure out some more information because, just talking and listening, tell him those step by steps. Just don't assume and let him know. And I also think, the community, you need to reach out and apologize. People work hard for their money and they need to know they can trust you. You need to take then the whole foundation and explain the new protocol step by step so they also know. As far as the fundraising event, you since that other one was done, you obviously need to plan a new event and follow the proper steps you put in place so you can raise that money for your supplementary curriculum. And then I also think that the principal needs to reach out to the district and request a meeting with all of the foundation presidents and the superintendent. Obviously, there is something going on. Someone told him Mr. Barely. You don't want to assume it was Mr. Morley, but you do have to look at that past. So you don't want to point fingers, but you do need to have a meeting and let people know that it's not okay. They are the presidents. They are adults. They need to act in those roles and be good role models. It's not a competition. It is about what's offering what is best for our students. And if one school raises more money than the other, then that the other school just needs to deal with that and raise money. It's not about getting other people in trouble. It's about doing what's best for the school. And lastly, the principal needs to have a more active role. Not that it's the principal's fault, but in my opinion, it's a combination of everybody's fault. The principal should be held accountable too if they did not give the proper orientation to Mr. Barely. So I think it's a little bit of everything on this for choosing the best option to move forward, to make sure that it never happens again and that we keep our students' interest in the highest regards. Thank you.